Hey Booktube, hi. Hi. Here I am, starting very awkwardly. I'm Shelly, if you don't know who I am, and welcome to my channel. Today, I don't like it when I sound like I have a script, and every time I say today we're going to talk about, I feel like I'm scripted. So I'm not going to do that today. What's going on is that I have been feeling the heaviness of our world and the heaviness of the surge of the Delta variant and I think I just have, my emotions are like right underneath the surface of me today. I could just cry at the drop of a hat. And I don't know, I think it's getting to me. So to counter that feeling, those feelings, I was thinking that instead of thinking about the 3 named storms out in the Atlantic and everything going on overseas and everything going on in our own country and wallowing in that, which now I am, but we're gonna get out of that headspace, at least I am, and I'm gonna talk about the things that are cheering me up right now. I made like the quickest list ever, which means that it just reminded me how grateful I am for the life that I have here and now, and that is what I want to focus on today instead of feeling really sad and then staying really sad all day. Yeah. So actually, the first thing is that I want to mention some booktubers that have most recently given me just a ton of joy. I honestly could name every person that I am subscribed to and talk individually about how much I enjoy their channels and about them as people. There are so many here on BookTube that I enjoy, but I'm going to name 5 because these are the people that just popped into my head. They're probably the people I watched most recently, to be honest. And yeah, so the first one is Hannah from Hannah's Books. She did a Reads and Rambles about her trip to Boston, and I loved it. It was wonderful. And Hannah is so well spoken and so articulate that she inspires me to be like that as well, to be honest. She's just everything I love about a polished booktuber. I like all kinds of booktube channels, but when it comes to someone who's polished, Hannah is wonderful, and she's thoughtful, and you can tell that she thinks about what she's gonna say. And there is something magical about her channel. And her trip to Boston was really, really neat to listen to and to watch all of her pictures and little footage and her little jokes. Go watch her video because that was great. Okay, so Hannah. The next one is David Wiley. David Wiley recently did the Your Answer Can't Be Books tag, and he featured his beautiful, adorable daughter, and my heart just grew for him and his family in that video, and I'm gonna link everyone down below, and I don't want to keep saying that, but David's video, not only was it great, but it was really cool to see a little more about his life, and I just, it just was one of those videos that warmed my heart. Okay. Now let's talk about Juan. Juan has been walking around with the Curse of Jane Austen, and from Plagued by Visions, and he has been going through it, y'all. And so if you go back to the last 5 videos that he's posted, if you just watch the first 5 minutes of each, you'll follow this thread of a story where I cursed Juan. And we're working on banning the curse, so don't worry. But and you could see the progression of how the curse has been haunting him, and this possession has taken over his soul, and that has just been giving me so much joy. I've just been chuckling my way through all of those videos and getting to know Juan a little bit better. Oh, The next one, Aaron Facer. Aaron Facer's little library tour. His wife, I think her name is Jasmine. I'm sorry if I get her name wrong, but his wife Jasmine's in the background. And what's cool is that Aaron is showing his library, and then Jasmine gives her 2 cents about a book that she's read. And watching it is so calming, and Aaron is so sweet, and he just takes his time talking about all of the books he owns, which I have been loving and have been really sweet. And then the last one, last but definitely not least, is a newish booktuber, a girl named Shasta. She posted a video yesterday about the joy that she's been getting from children's books. And I told her that she is speaking my language because I love kids' books too, a lot. And so watching her go through her love for kids' books and talking about what she's learned from them was not only cool, but it was a joy, and it made me smile, and her video made me smile. So again, I'm gonna link all these people below. Okay, the next thing. Now I'm gonna talk about, those were more like the booktube community things. Now I'm gonna talk about the more tangible things. The first one is, the book I finished, Lysistrata. This was hilarious. It is a Greek play, first performed in 411 BC, and it is about the women who are annoyed or angry with their husbands that their husbands keep on fighting, and there seems to be no end to the warring that the men are doing. And so the women, or Lysistrata, cooks up this plan to withhold lovemaking from the husbands. And it's not just the premise, but the comedic timing in it was hilarious. And I found myself just chuckling all the way through. And what I loved about it is that I'm still learning to define myself as a reader. I really don't know what kind of reader I am. I'm sort of down to read almost anything. And the comedies have been really sticking out to me. I think of Mahem's Up at the Villa, which I read a couple months ago, a comedy that I adored. And now Lysistrata, again, another comedy that I really, really enjoyed. And so I definitely want to, maybe incorporate some more comedic writing, clever comedic writing in my, and Lady Susan by Jane Austen in my reading, because I don't know, they've been giving me a lot of joy. It's just hitting the right note for me as a reader, and I feel like I really need some of those comedic reliefs in my reading. So Lysistrata did that for me just a couple days ago. Okay, the next one I'm going to do maybe in a little bit of a story time fashion. I'm looking down at my list. So actually, BRB, I'm going to check to see if my camera is still recording. All right, so my little story time. Every night, every evening, I like to watch about a half hour of television to wind down and go to sleep. And I choose one show, and sometimes that show will be rewatched over and over and over again because I like the comfort of a television show, knowing what's going on and knowing the characters. And typically it's a comedy, and it gets switched out. It's in the years past, it's been Seinfeld or Community or Kim's Convenience, and it was recently like Ted Lasso. So the second season of Ted Lasso came out, and actually I was a little bit disappointed because I felt like the show didn't know where it was going. Ted Lasso is about a super positive coach who coaches a football team in England, so soccer here, and he's never coached it before, and it's more about like his energy and positivity, and that's he starts coaching a losing team. I don't know if we're gonna move on. So it's really mostly about Ted Lasso and his positivity and the way that he spreads it. And in the first season, the show created a very wonderful season arc. There was a clear antagonist, a clear protagonist, and clear story arc and all of that. So season 2 comes, and I just felt like they were floundering, and I didn't think that they knew where they were going. But Last week's episode, so like episode 5, last week's episode and this week's episode, I felt like they nailed it. And so that was really, really cheering me up because I just felt like they hit their stride with the comedy and the story arc, and it's all kind of coming together more now. So I was really pleased about that. And that was last night that we watched Ted Lasso. And then while I'm sort of like, while the Ted Lasso episodes were coming out and I wasn't very impressed with them, I was like, I need a different show. So we started watching Mythic Quest. And Mythic Quest is about a mid-size video game company the company created a online video game named Mythic Quest. And they're a small mid-sized company, and it's a workplace comedy drama kind of. And I am really loving that. I like that the show is mostly not sentimental. It's almost Seinfeld in the way that the characters don't show very much growth, but then they do. The show surprises you sometimes because sometimes the characters will show a small amount of growth, and that is extremely satisfying. But also the characters are complex. Most of the time they're not very likable, and I don't know, there's just something about the show that is really working for me. And that has been cheering me up. So we've watched it all the way through. They have 2 seasons. And then I just started back over and I'm watching it again. And it really, like I said, it's a workplace drama, and it's, makes fun of millennials in some ways, or Gen Zers, and the head of the company, Ian, is an egomaniac or an egotistical maniac, kind of. He's, the whole thing is, it works for me, and I'm really enjoying that. So, I said I was going to do a story time. Oh, so every night we're watching TV, and then I curl up and I drink my peppermint tea with my honey, and I usually watch about 10 minutes before I finish my tea, and then promptly fall asleep on the couch, where my husband has to wake me up and corral me to bed. So yeah. So those 2 things, and then the final thing is this, and it's my kids. I know that kids are, of course a mother's going to say kids give her joy, but I'm going to specifically talk about this morning. So this morning, my boys, they are 5 and 3, and they woke me up, or got me out of bed rather, and we just immediately launched into a game, like a totally made up little game where they laughed their hearts out, and so did I. And to start my morning like that was fantastic. I was tickling them, and then we were, hiding toys and pretending to find them. It was just the best. And it, my own kids' laughter, if you ask a mother, one of the best sounds in the world is your kids' laughter. And having them laugh for an hour this morning, and that was the beginning of our morning, was awesome. And yeah, that's it. And I feel good. I'm really glad I did this. I really needed this. And yeah, so tell me what's cheering you up right now. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Thanks for letting me ramble about just things that I love and things that are giving me joy. And I hope that you have the most wonderful day. Bye. Bye, guys.